on the banks of the Shenandoah. In 61 I went to the war to win one for Virginia.
Hi, my name is Rafi Billner, and I am so excited to talk to you about a few backcountry cooking techniques. You know, this is a method that I would recommend if you're ever by a stream, by a lake, you get a nice trout. I'm gonna show you how to fillet that fish, cook it up right over a camp stove, and make a delicious meal for you and your loved ones on your next backcountry trip. It's Cooking with Rafi in the Wilderness. Let's go and let's make some food. Alrighty, so here's what we got. We got a MSR, that is Mountain Safety Research, a pocket rocket stove. That is the industry standard in terms of a backcountry cooking stove. Really easy, really convenient. What you do is it just comes with this little accessory here that you open up into a stove. You're gonna attach it to that butane container. This can be found at any local outdoor store, really widely available. Great stove to use, and it can't even break. That's amazing about it, really durable. So here's what I'm gonna get my stove set up. Always important when you're in the backcountry, as I am right now, to have a good space for you. A space that is free of any leaves or debris on the ground in order so you don't light any brush on fire. It's very important to be safe when you're cooking in the wilderness, and I found this nice flat area right here that I can place my stove down. Okay, so I was able to get this fish a little while ago. Certainly, for our purposes here, didn't find it in a stream or a lake, went down to my local grocery store, but this is an example of a brook trout that you could find in any freshwater stream in the continental US. So we're gonna cook up that little troutie right now, and let's get going filleting. As I said, I was able to get this trout a few hours ago for you, and the trout is a versatile fish. It's a fish that is nice and mild, can easily be caught in any, as I said, in any kind of stream or lake, and it's just a great fish. So let's get going and filleting that trout. Here it is right here. It's a nice fish. It's meaty, white flesh. Now I want to talk about knives in the wilderness. Having a good knife in the backcountry is paramount for your cooking success. I have this good knife right here that I've been in my family for generations, and let me tell you something, it's sharp, it's ready to go, and I'm gonna start filleting this fish right now. First thing you wanna take into account, the underside of the fish is where you're gonna do your filleting. You wanna extract that meaty flesh from either side without getting any unnecessary guts or goop into the fish. So, let's get going here. First step, what I'm gonna do is some people like to cut off the dorsal fin right here in order to prevent any, kind of prickling. That's fine for now. We're in the backcountry, no big deal. I'm gonna take that knife, if you'll come in a little closer here, and I'm going to literally just make an incision all the way out the back end of the fish, like so, keeping my hand placed firmly against the flesh in order so I can spot the backbone here, the ribs, so I'm not getting any bone in the fish. A sharp knife is critical for this operation. And then I'm gonna come out right at the tail here, like that. That's all the goop. I'm gonna get rid of all that. Get into the bowl. And just start my filleting, working my way towards the front of the fish, getting the meat nice and removed from that flesh. Being very careful so I'm not getting any bones in that meat. A nice white flesh is what we're looking for. Now I'm gonna take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the importance of having fun when you're cooking in the backcountry. Backcountry cooking is about bringing your friends and your family and your loved ones around, a camp stove, around a fire, and really enjoying yourselves when you're out there. Because you know what I always say? I always say, if you don't have good food in the wilderness, it's not a backcountry trip, because food is what it's all about. And that's why it's so important to when you're planning for that trip, to think about how you're gonna make your friends and family happy when you're with us. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this fish fillet. Now you'll see, I just want to know, you're gonna hit some bones, that's fine, as long as you're keeping aware of where that rib is and cutting firmly against that and cutting a nice fillet away from the flesh. You're gonna be just fine. It's gonna work out great for you. Alrighty, I'm almost done. I'm gonna do one fillet for you just for demonstration purposes. And then we'll go ahead and get this skillet fired up and start cooking. This fish is a little meaty, which is something I like. I'll tell you that. Some nice flesh here. Okay, now people have different ways of doing it. Once you have that fillet separated, some people just go and cut. It depends on how much you want to use. If we're in the backcountry, we want to use it all. Otherwise, if we don't eat it, the bears are going to eat it. And I want this fish tonight, not Mr. Bear out in the woods. So I'm going to try to get as much as I possibly can. If you have dogs on the trip, heads are great to feed to the dogs. Feed them to your cats, no problem. They love those. Okay, just about done with that fillet. Make my final incision here. Again, a sharp knife is critical. Fantastic. All right, as I said, I'll get back to the rest of that fillet later. For now, we have a nice fillet that's gonna be great to cook up for you. So as I said, I'll take care of this later. Fantastic. So I have my fillet ready to go. Again, organization is key. I have everything I need right now. I have my pan, the oil. I would just recommend not taking a whole bottle of oil with you into the backcountry, just taking what you need, put it in a small container that's easily accessible, and just have everything nice and organized. Again, my stove on a level space, no leaves around here. Let's get it lit and ready to go. Oh, you can hear the whisper of the butane, ready to light. There you go. The stove is lit. My pan is ready. And I put my pan firmly on top. The stove is heating away. I have my lemons here. I'm gonna use later. Now I'm gonna put a little oil in that pan to just get that nice and heated up. This is canola oil. You can use peanut. You can use sunflower. You can use olive. Whatever you desire. I recommend, though, again, that you have it bottled in a small container ahead of time. While my pan is heating up, I'm going to spread my oil around. And what I'm now going to do is just get my lemons ready for a nice garnish when the fish is done. Again, a sharp knife is critical for backcountry cooking. And remember, it's so important that you plan ahead for these types of trips. I knew that I would be finding a trout on day 3 of this trip, and therefore made sure that I brought some lemons ahead of time, so I had them ready to go when I was making my fish. We caught a nice fish, now let's get it cooking. The oil is hot, I'm gonna turn down my stove a tiny bit, and we're gonna get that fish in there. As I said, a nice fillet, and you've noticed, skin on. I've left that skin on because it's so fresh. Why not? If you have a fresh fish that you caught up in, let's say it's back down by Blue Water Creek, you want to keep that skin on because damn right it's fresh. So we're going to put it skin side down to start. The whole family has a great time on these adventures, let me tell you. Now, cameraman, come in a little closer here. Come in a little closer so we can get it. Now, I just want to highlight the advantages of this particular pocket rocket model of the Mountain Safety Research line of stove. It's a phenomenal type of stove because let me tell you, it does the trick. It's easy to fix. It's a high efficiency stove. Look at that flame we got going on there. Alrighty. So I'm going to let that fillet go. I'm going to take the liberty of putting 1 lemon juice over to bring out the aromas of that trout. Listen to it crackle. Watch out. Woo! That's normal. That's just oil coming off, no big deal. But always good to put on a show in front of the family. You can always light it on fire, that's fine too. All right, so you'll see it's cooking very fast. I'm ready to flip it. I mean, this is a delicate fish, very delicate meat. So I'm telling you, no more than 2 minutes on each side. And especially this one, it looks very sensitive. I'm gonna give it a good flip right now. Oh yeah, you'll notice that skin will start to kind of separate off. I'm telling you, this is gonna be done in just maybe a minute and a half because it's such a delicate flesh. So no need to go crazy. And I want you all to remember that after you take the fish off, it's gonna need to rest for 30 to 45 seconds, and that will, the cooking process will actually continue when the fish is resting. So you don't, again, I'm just saying, you don't want to overcook that. Oh yeah. You see how I'm really moving that pan around? Cooking is a dynamic process. If someone tells you, hey, you know, I think cooking is boring, get out of town, man. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Cooking is a dynamic process, and it's something that you really need to engage with. Also, I want to highlight my stance here. If you don't mind zooming in on my stance here, I am maintaining a stance that allows for fire safety, because the important thing with backcountry cooking is you have to be aware that the ground could lit on fire at any time. Let's say the stove gets open. Let's say your pan falls down. Let's say a leaf catches on fire. Let's say you're boiling up hot water and falls down. You want to be able to jump back in just a moment's notice with no difficulty. So that's why it's important to maintain a nimble stance over the stove like I'm doing. Well, it looks like our fish is just about done. I'm gonna give it one more flick. Okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna turn my stove off gently, noticing that the stove itself is still very hot, making sure no one's touching it. So I'm gonna move it to the side. And I just wanna highlight how I know my fillet is done. What we like to say is, does the fish bounce? I can literally take my spatula or my hand, whatever so choose, I'll use my finger here, and push down on the flesh. And if the flesh rebounds, like so, the flesh literally will just come back up in a very kind of quick fashion, we know it's done. You don't want to overcook it. You don't want it to be just this dull piece of fish. This is tasty, this is good, this looks very well done. I said 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes maximum each side. I think this whole thing we did 4 minutes. On the other side, as you can see, the skin is kind of crackly, starting to come off. It's a delicate piece of fish, and it looks just about done. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna actually serve it in the pan for my family or my friends, whoever's on the trip with me. I'm gonna just serve it with 1 lemon slice. Now, this would be a good time for any seasoning. You'll notice I didn't use seasonings. That's because I want to emphasize the importance of letting the flavor of that fresh fish come out. It's alive. You want people to see it. So all I'm going to do for this one is just 2 simple lemon slices on either side of the fish, like so. You know, just serve it with 2 lemon slices on either side, and people will come in, dig in, and enjoy the fish. I would recommend eating with between no more than 5 minutes after you've cooked up that fish, because it will get dry. Bring the family around, dig in, and enjoy. This is a nice fish. If you're ever again by a freshwater a body of water, it's really readily available. And I recommend this simple flaying method, a little lemon slice, a quick fry over the pan, over the skillet with a little oil, and everyone will love it. Well, folks, I just want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Backcountry Cooking with Rafi. And as I always tell you, even if you're going in the wilderness, even if you're outdoors in the wild and rugged places of this country, you don't have to compromise cooking. You don't have to compromise the cuisine that we love so dearly. Go out, have fun, happy trails, and let's get cooking. Thanks, folks.